right, let's try this Rick Beato video.
Have you guys noticed how old
No.
all the people on the top of the music charts are? If you go to the top Spotify monthly listeners chart and you start looking down, let's say take the top 25 and you look at the ages of the people. If you start with Bruno Mars, who has 130 million monthly listeners, he's 39 years old. Let me go down the list.
This is not shocking at all. It's almost like you have to put in time into the industry in order to build this up. This is not shocking at all. You know, like, would you expect, fucking Sabrina Carpenter to be the #1 with monthly listeners? Just because, like, she's the hot thing right now? I don't know, bro.
The Weeknd, 35 years old. Billie Eilish, 23. She's young. Kendrick.
Okay, so you already disproved your point, bro.
Lamar, 37. Coldplay, Chris Martin at least, is 48. Rihanna is 37.
Bro, like... you already... We're just going to step over Billie Eilish there. Well, Billie Eilish is 23, but that don't count.
Ed Sheeran's 34. Ariana Grande is 31. Taylor Swift, 35. SZA, 35. Bad Bunny, 31. Drake, 38. Justin Bieber, 31. Dua Lipa, 29. Eminem, 52. Post Malone, 29. Sabrina Carpenter, 25. Travis Scott, 33. Maroon 5's Adam Levine is 46. Shakira is 48. J Balvin is 39. Katy Perry.
Oh, let me change the title real quick here. Rick Beato. But I don't even... He's losing it. Big Rick Beato's losing it.
Is 40. Lana Del Rey's 39. Adele's 36. And rounding out the list at number 25 is Beyonce, who's 43 years old.
She only has 56 million?
Now, if you average all...
I like how it's like, only 56 million. Purely pheasant numbers.
all those together, it comes out to be 36 and a half years old. That's the
we're just gonna step over the fact that Billie Eilish was like 23, right?
average age of the people in the top 25 on Spotify's...
Okay, first of all, this is something I skipped over earlier, but monthly listeners is not a gauge of how popular you are. It's a gauge of how many playlists you are in and how many impressions you are getting, okay? All that means is that somebody listened to your song for 30 seconds. They could have skipped it at 30 seconds and then never listened to you ever again. All that means is that you're in a lot of playlists. It doesn't mean... It means you're popular in the sense that you're in a lot of playlists. It doesn't mean that you're only being listened to because of the amount of playlists you're in. But that, you know, that could be because you're popular. It could also be just because you're in a lot of playlists.
monthly listener chart. That's really old. So out of that list, there are only 4 people that are in...
And honestly, it's going to take time to get in that many playlists, you know? You need like a large library of songs. And the reason why Billie Eilish is in there is just because she's purely focused on quality with her songs. And, you know, she's had a pretty big impact. You know, she was in like the Barbie movie and she's like fucking all over the radio still.
In their 20s. Billie Eilish, who's 23. Sabrina Carpenter, who's 25. But Post Malone and Dua Lipa are 29. And
also they've been touring a lot too. You know, how long do you think it takes to tour? You're going on several tours, at least. Probably a handful at least to like help push those numbers up.
Almost 30. They're both...
So like, you know, it's gonna take some years off there, you know, or it's gonna tack some years on, you may say.
going to be 30 this year. As a point of comparison, in 1965, the Beatles released their 6th record, Rubber Soul. On that...
I swear to fucking God, dude. This guy cannot not mention the Beatles.
Record...
I don't want to hear about the Beatles ever again.
John Lennon was 25, and so was Ringo. McCartney was only 23, and George...
And we're not comparing monthly listeners, though, are we?
George Harrison was an astounding 22 years old. 6 records into their career. And if you think I'm just cherry-picking this, there's tons of examples of this. When the Rolling Stones released...
Wait, but you are cherry-picking this, though, because you are comparing monthly listeners, and then you're comparing how many albums the Beatles had done. I don't understand how like people don't like push back on this kind of shit that he does, right? Because this is a terrible comparison. Like, what is the logic on this?
Exile on Main Street, 1972. That was their 10th album, and Mick and Keith were both 29. Another great example is Stevie Wonder. Stevie Wonder was 26 when he released his 8th studio record, Songs in the Key of Life, in 1976. Or if you go to the 80s, U2 released their 5th studio record in 1980.
He's about to talk about how many albums the current stars have made. I feel like that, I don't know, bro. He's just like all over the fucking road with this. This is nuts.
7, The Joshua Tree. And on that record, Bono and Adam Clayton were 27, and Edge and Larry Mullen Jr. were 26. They're far into their careers. And there's many more examples of this. If you look at today's charts, you're going to notice something very different. Bruno Mars is 39, but only released 3 albums. The Weeknd and Kendrick Lamar are 35 and 37, and they've each only released 6 albums. And
only 6 albums.
Ed Sheeran, who's 34, has released 7. So far fewer records.
So, not sure if I really have anything against this here. I think it's just a different time period, man. I don't know.
Records and are much older. So why is this? So I came across this thing called the Matthew Principle or Matthew Effect, which
I do agree Rick Beato is underhated. I don't know. Underhated. I do agree with that, actually. Like, I would like to agree with him, but I just feel like his points are not, like, logically consistent a lot of the time. Like, it would be great if I could agree with this guy, but it's just, this is, like, strung together with string.
To the concept of cumulative advantage.
That's another point, Niles. Yes, we've long left the era of albums. Yes, singles are king. You know, albums are king when you have a large fan base, you know. You can give them what they want.
Advantage. Where those who already possess an advantage like wealth, status, or in this case, Spotify listeners, tend to accumulate more, while those who start with less tend to lose what they have. In economics, individuals...
Wait, hold on, I missed that. Sorry, I'm trying to do something real quick on my phone.
In this case, Spotify listeners tend to accumulate more, while those who start with less tend to lose what they have.
Wait, hold on, what? Cumulative advantage. Hold on, let me try to... I'm purely listening now, not on my phone.
Who's 34 has released 7. So far fewer records and are much older. So why is this? So I came across this thing called the Matthew Principle or Matthew Effect, which refers to the concept of cumulative advantage, where those who already possess an advantage like wealth, status, or in this case, Spotify listeners, tend to accumulate more, while those who...
Okay, see, you know what? Actually, I may agree with him here. It's funny because, like, in the long run, I think I actually do agree with him here. I just feel like the way he got here is crazy. It's like a kid doing the math homework, and then all the work they show to prove that they got the answer makes no fucking sense. But then you look at the answer and you're like, oh, well, that's correct. Don't know how you did it. You didn't carry the fucking ones. You didn't do anything here. Nothing here is correct except for the answer.
Start with less tend to lose what they have. In economics, individuals with more wealth have more opportunities to invest in things and generate even more wealth. I think the way that it relates to this list...
Yeah, I actually agree with him here. I actually do agree with him here.
...is that people...
His fucking work to get there, though, I don't know about that.
...that were already famous in the early 2000s to the mid-2000s, like Taylor Swift, like Coldplay, like Maroon 5, they had a distinct advantage on this list because they were famous when streaming really blew up, which made it easier for them to be higher on the list. They had more songs to pick from. People were...
Well, think about it this way. Like, if you're early to the streaming, you know, game, you're going to be the first in all these playlists, you know? You're going to be in more playlists just based on the amount of time. And if that's the metric we're going off of here, then yeah.
Going back and listening to their catalog songs and their new songs that they're releasing. And that's one of the reasons that they're so big on this list. Bruno Mars may only have 3 records out, but he's been on so many people's songs. He's all over the place. The same thing goes on social media. Let's say YouTube. I have almost 5 million subscribers, and I will get there if you hit subscribe right now. Quick plug. It's far easier for me to get subscribers because I have all this social proof. People look at my channel and they see, oh, this video has got 1 million, this video has 5 million, this video has 20 million. And so you tend to click on those videos and subscribe to those channels that have a ton of social proof than you will if you come across a channel that only has 20 followers.
Well, it's not just that. It's also the fact that it gets pushed to you more.
Think about your own viewing habits. If you're going to try to fix...
Also, like, your experience with watching, like, a smaller channel. Like, how often have you seen, like, a channel with, like, 20 subscribers that really blew you away with their video? Almost never, right? So, like, it kind of, like, changes your expectations. You're just like, oh, this is going to be some dog shit ass dookie. You know, you're like, there's no way this is going to be good.
It's your hot water heater. Are you going to look at a video of someone that's got 5,000 views or 5 million views? You're going to go with the one that has the social proof on it.
Actually, It kind of depends, you know. It may actually depend. For me, at least, I'm going to look at the length of the video and what I'm doing. I'm going to compare those two things. Because if it's something that should take like 30 seconds and there's like a 1 minute video on it with 5,000 views, it's at the top. Hell yeah, I'm clicking that one. What do you mean? I'm not clicking the one with fucking, that's like 15 minutes. It's got 5 million views. I don't know. That's just me, at least.
Especially with something like that. That pretty much goes for anything. If you're trying to learn anything, YouTube will typically serve up the videos that have the most views, or that have the most views and the highest rating. And this Matthew principle...
Okay, bro. I don't think he knows how YouTube works anymore, guys. It's the like rating doesn't fucking matter. Maybe he's talking about watch time? The like average watch time, I think, is like what's important. And click-through rate. So like views, click-through rate, watch time. I don't know about I don't think rating matters anymore, guys. Rating is also a thing from like way back in the day on YouTube, where you could like rate it 5 stars or 4 stars or 3 stars.
It goes for things like social media platforms. Like, why did Facebook outlast things like MySpace or any of its other competitors? Well, because people would spend X amount of time posting things on there, and then once you have all this history, people don't want to start from scratch. It's hard. People are like, Rick, why don't you move to this platform, move to that platform? Maybe because I have 2,000 videos on YouTube and I don't want to start from scratch. And because
it's not even about that. It's just where everyone is, man.
YouTube is the best platform to be on because it's got the best search engine. People, when they're searching.
Okay, that's fucking guys, we got to get into the old person. What do you mean YouTube has the best search engine? I feel like I'm going crazy here. What do you mean YouTube has the best search engine? Should I show you how it doesn't have the best search engine here? What should I search, guys? Give me some things here. Well, give me an idea here. What should we search? That is a really dumb take, because what it does is it actually shows you. Okay, I'll just explain it. I don't even have to search anything. The YouTube search is terrible. Let's type YouTube search into the YouTube search here. Watch what happens here. Okay, so you got some relative videos here. It's a short, relative video. And that's it. Those are all the relative videos we have here. All of a sudden, we're going to go to a totally different section here. Creating a YouTube channel for the blind and visually impaired. So we only get these first, 1, 2, 3, 6, 8 things here. We get these first 8 things here, and a majority of them are YouTube shorts. How the fuck does YouTube have a good search engine? And then it's like channels new to you. Like, it's showing you all these different sections. Like, it doesn't even, this is terrible. Bro, it used to have a good search engine. Man, does this guy use YouTube?
Things, they go to YouTube.
They just throw random shit at you to try to get you to watch.
Don't go to other places. And when you look on Google, it brings up YouTube videos. It doesn't bring up Facebook videos. So if you want to learn to do something, you search it on Google and you find the top YouTube videos to learn how to do anything. And those are the ones that you go with. That's your competitive advantage over other things, which is why these people on Spotify keep getting bigger and why they're older.
So he kind of has a point, but he also doesn't at the same time. Let me pick this apart here. So on one hand, they do have an advantage in terms of monthly listeners, more impressions, more people are likely to see it and to get pulled into their system. But the thing is, it's totally different with YouTube, because it's like, there's recommendations, which I guess is kind of similar. But then he was comparing it to YouTube search, which search is totally different. It's not the same thing as playlisting. I understand here, it's totally an apples and oranges argument, though.
This exact same thing. They have this competitive advantage by being around longer. So I'm not going to tell you that it's impossible to be successful on this platform. Even if,
well, yeah, I mean, like, his point also kind of falls apart from the fact that Billie Eilish is like, what, number 3 on that list, and she's 23. I don't know. He kind of just skipped over that. I mean, he like mentioned her and then was just like, okay, moving on to the next one here.
You start from scratch today, because it's not. You can start from scratch and grow a huge channel right now. I have friends that have done it in the past few years. No. But it is difficult. And when you're competing against people, let's say somebody like me that's 63 years old and you're 30 years old, not only is my competitive advantage.
Hey, let's just say this. Time may be on your side right now, but not for long. But not for long. I'm just a little joke there.
Length of time I've been on YouTube, but it's also my age. Being 63 does give me a competitive advantage. Why is that? When I'm talking about music from the 60s, I was alive in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s. So I was able to live and hear the Beatles when they were on the radio in the 60s. And
that doesn't really change anything about any of his arguments, though, for the most part. like 99% of them.
Jimi Hendrix and Black Sabbath. I was able to hear all those artists, that Led Zeppelin, all these artists that were big in the 60s and the 70s and 80s and the 90s. I lived through the grunge era. I learned about jazz music when I was in college in the 1980s, and I taught jazz studies. I taught jazz history. I played classical music in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s.
Okay, we get it, dude.
I studied it, and I have this incredible lived experience of playing all these different genres of music, not only on one instrument, but on multiple instruments. So it's far...
Oh my God, bro. Dude's having a dick sucking competition with himself right now. We get it, Rick. Jesus fucking Christ, dude.
Easier for me to talk about Jimi Hendrix because I remember when Jimi Hendrix was putting out records. And I remember...
I want to run a dick sucking marathon with myself.
When the Stones were putting out records and the Beatles, well, the Stones are still putting out records. And all these artists that are not even with us anymore. So it's very difficult for a young person to come in and start a channel and compete with someone that's old like me that has
dude, this video was nuts.
all this experience. But it's not impossible. You can have a successful channel. But the things you need to do are actually the things that I did. You need to outwork other people. You really need to just dedicate yourself to this.
Why do you guys think I'm uploading daily right now?
And put in the work that it takes. And it takes a lot of work to be successful at anything. The next thing is...
Guys, I've ever told you about how great I am? I'm uploading like every single day. I'm even streaming right now.
That you have to keep learning. If I didn't keep learning throughout my channel, I would not be able to be doing this 9 years into it.
Rick Beato bingo? Bro, we've already done that. Not today, but we've done that before. Like, what, a few months ago or something? We've done it already. It's been done. It's been done. We should do it again, though.
No, I was going to be making videos on AI. I didn't know I was going to be making videos on a lot of the topics that I talk about now because they didn't exist before. And the last thing is, somebody's got to be successful. So why can't it be you? That's the thing that I always thought when I started.
Oh my God, bro, that is the gut punch of this whole thing right here.
My channel's like,
let me hit you with this. Let me hit you with this lame ass shit right here at the end. Bah. Somebody's got to be successful, and it could even be you. Bah.
Hey, somebody's got to be successful. Why can't it be me? Love to know your thoughts. Hit subscribe. Thanks so much for watching.
So, oh my God, bro, this video, dude, this was a video for sure. Oh man. Jesus Christ, that was kind of tough to process there. We got like some crazy apples, oranges argument where you ended up on the correct answer, but then like the reasoning I felt like was kind of off. And then we got on like some like weird flexing energy. And then we got with some lame like, oh, you can do it, pal. You can do it. I feel like I need like a second to kind of just like take that all in there. That was a lot. Oh man.